What's up, guys? What's going on? So we are at a new and exciting project here in Fort Myers, Florida, and it's Monday morning about 9 a.m. I've been up since sometime in the 4s, got on the road before 6, and we're here. Just waiting on one rig to get here with some plants, and we're going to be installing an ecological landscape, food forest, fruit trees, and some natives here on the site. And this site, like many other sites that we work on, does have some challenges. We pulled in this morning. It's definitely very wet. We had already planned on putting the fruit trees on mounds, and then about 2 weeks ago the homeowner talked to us and they had mentioned it's a little more wet than it even usually is this year, so we doubled the amount of fill dirt, and it's 9 a.m. and we've already got our first load of fill dirt, and we're waiting on about 8 loads of fill dirt. So we're going to be kind of creating islands for all these plants to go in where the planting is going, and I'll put a little picture of the design in here for you guys. And my good buddy Matt Reese with What's Ripening helped and did the design work on this project, actually even helped me with the consultations, so big help throughout the entire project. And something I always say point out, there's a little bit of a smell in the air this morning, and this is it is related to what we do, because I believe that permaculture practices can fix this problem we're having in Florida right now. We're in a state of emergency. This toxic blue-green algae mixes with the salt water, creates the red tide. It's just totally scary. I've been attached to Florida, this water, my whole life. It's in my roots, it's in my blood. And to come down here and to see what's going on right now with Lake Okeechobee, and the way the water flow has been changed, and watching everybody point to all these fingers and blame big sugar, blame big ag, blame CAFOs. I think we're all to blame in this. I've even been to blame in this. And honestly, when you look at the big picture, I think the biggest problem is the HOAs, the homeowners associations. The requirement to keep these green yards, requirement to keep these chemicals on there all the time. I've been reading some statistics lately, and 80% of fertilizers run off. That's kind of scary. I've also been reading what this red tide is doing to the seagrass, and then reading that the seagrass in Florida, the amount of carbon sequestration is actually equal to the Amazon, or maybe was. Who knows how much that's died. So everybody needs to come together for Florida. We are known for our water here, and it's heartbreaking to see what's going on, to know that I can't go to the beach tonight to chill out with the guys, to know that I'm going to be smelling this, and possibly even putting my health into a concern here, with breathing this crap in. So it's really a shame what's going on right now with this whole Lake Okeechobee. Didn't even used to be a lake, used to be a swamp. It's a shame where we're at, and I really think with people start growing more food like we're promoting, start using less chemicals, these problems can get fixed. We can turn this around. But right now, guys, our kids are going to suffer for this. We're going to see these problems for 5 or 10 years. Who knows? So very upsetting. As you can see, very wet site, standing water here on the back of the property. There's some existing mangoes. Mangoes can obviously handle the wet feet. I've got Matt over here right now. He's in charge of the demarcation. Those stakes are where the trees are going, and he's using the marker paint to actually mark out the beds. So we've got a lot of beds to get cut out here today. We've got some grass to get picked up. Got a lot of fill dirt that's going in. That's just the start of it. And this will be a fun little project. Hope you guys enjoy this one. All right, guys, so day 4 on this exciting project here in Fort Myers, and we're actually supposed to be out of here by today, and we've definitely faced a lot of unexpected challenges. And we tried to account for all of these before these projects, but some things you just can't, you don't have control over. And I got to be honest with you, I hit a point this week where I was ready to get out of here. I just needed to get away from the space for a little bit. We've had a lot of challenges with delivery services, materials that are supposed to show up, materials that are said to be here and didn't actually show up. And really funny thing is, we were supposed to get 8 loads of fill dirt on Monday. We ended up getting 3 or 4 on Monday. And I'm talking to the guy that owns the company, and I'm like, where's my dirt? He's like, I'm talking to my drivers. They say they've delivered. Well, 1 o'clock comes along, and we're sitting here eating lunch, and you know, I've watched at least 15 loads come to this construction site next door, and I'm getting a little bit fed up. I'm calling the driver, or calling the owner of the company. He's telling me that the materials they're getting is much more expensive, coming from a closer yard. That's why they're getting them. Well, come to find out, about 1:30, his drivers got confused and they took 3 loads to the wrong site. So long story short, we finally got all the fill dirt we needed to raise these beds in the backyard, but with day behind schedule. And really the other challenging thing of this site is the wetness of the soil. It's gotten really mucky. You know, we're very fortunate. Homeowner doesn't care about the grass. They don't fertilize, they don't water. I think I mentioned that in the last one I did. So it's not a big deal. We're gonna grade it, we're gonna try to get it level, but you know, just even removing sod from a wet site like this is very challenging. I mean, it's like suction cup to the ground, you know, 10 times as heavy, can't get it up as quick. So we could have probably been out of here by about noon today. Gonna be here at least until midday tomorrow, finishing touches, cleaning up, irrigation, that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to show you guys this messy site, show you where we're at, and I'll do a little wrap-up video when we get done, so hold tight. All right, so I know you guys love the numbers on these projects. So far we've gotten 3 55-yard loads of this hardwood mulch. We've gotten 10 yards of organic compost. We've got about 700 pounds of biochar, 5 bags of organic fertilizer, and I'm trying to remember, 10 dump truck loads of dirt. So 180 yards of fill dirt. All of these beds came up. They're all sitting on islands. Everything is planted right now other than the mimosa and peanut, and we go back in and we actually plant those through the mulch. So quick little walk around, more of a follow-up walk around though when we're done. You guys will see this over here on the ground. That's one of our poly lines for our micro irrigation, and you're probably wondering, like, this wet site gets irrigation, but we do have a dry season. So typically in springtime, you know, while these trees are developing flowers, that water is crucial. So maybe they'll be using the irrigation here 2 months, 3 months out of the year, minimal usage. It's only for in the dry season and for fruit establishment. But what was really challenging here was we have to get a line through here, and we keep driving over it. And the way it keeps smushing down, I can't put a line in the ground. So that's gonna be one of the final things we do, is connect this bed, connect that bed over there, and we actually have 3 zones of micro irrigation going in here. So this outer bed that I'm standing next to is part of the phase 1. We actually have some other beds going into phase 2, phase 3, which is definitely gonna get done in dry season. Like I told you guys in the last part, kind of sitting here right now by a couple of loquats. There's loquat, avocado, a couple of grafted jackfruits. There's another one of the existing mangoes that was here. They did get a dream atamoya, a couple of sugar apples, large camito. No mangoes. Most of the mangoes were already here in the ground. Strawberry tree, I think 1 Barbados cherry tree, lots of tropical sage, lots of salvias, and lots of firebush. So it's a little bit of a hot mess right now. All right, guys, what's going on? So we are on our final day on this Fort Myers project, and I'll tell you a little secret. We worked until about 7:30 last night. We thought we could get out of here and looking over things on the job, and we probably could have worked until 10 o'clock with the headlights on. It wasn't happening, so we were kind of dreaming, thinking we were getting out of here early. It's about 9:30 in the morning. We're putting some tags in, doing some hand watering, finishing touches, and we're out of here. Something else I wanted to point out was this is like the first project I think I've actually stayed on site. They had a guest house here. They actually housed us, so that was really cool. Didn't have to find a place to stay, and we were really centrally located on this one. Lots of food options, material options, everything kind of within a short distance. So do a little bit of a walkover. Not going to bother trying to get close up. And something I want to tell you guys, you know, I am not the best with this camera equipment. I'm not the best with the drone. As far as technology goes, that's not my forte. I know we've had some issues with blurry, not getting proper focus, blurry picture on a couple of places, audio issues. I'm blaming Sony. It's probably just me. So I'm going back to my actual stock lens I bought on this camera here. I'm going to go back to my other Rode mic. Hopefully it fixes all these problems. I probably need to take some camera classes. So it rained on us here last night. As you can see, I mean, there's some puddling going on out here on the site. Holding some water here in a couple of places. A lot of the grass is already kind of just starting to sprout through, and like I had mentioned before, they don't irrigate, they don't fertilize. It was really just weeds, so it's not much of a big deal. And I'll walk you around the bed here for a minute, and we're gonna run the drone over top and make this one a wrap. So lots of perennial peanut, sunshine mimosa, grafted loquat, porterweed, lots of salvias, tropical sage, some cat whisker in here, scorpion tail, that's a grafted avocado, more fakahatchee grass, grafted jackfruit. You'll see our Mexican sunflower. We actually start those from cuttings. That's a cutting over there in the ground. That was actually a cutting over there in the ground on that side. Wax myrtle. Sugar apple coming up over here. Another mulberry. This was an existing mango. They've been pruning. Has a nice shape to it. I think it probably fruited this year. Ian, what are you tagging over there?
Camito.
Camito! Little star apple. That was a big one. I think we got that in a 15 or 25 gallon. Lots of dwarf firebush throughout this bed. Some standard firebush. Here's our Inga. This is our ice cream bean, nitrogen fixer, edible beans. This is a cashew apple. Lots of different tropical apples were requested on this project. A couple of sapodillas. That is Sesbania grandifolia, or grandiflora, sorry. I believe this is, well, what are we working with over here? We don't have a tag yet. What's going on, Ian? Wax jambu? Wax jambu. This is the Pakistani mulberry. This was the big sapodilla. Actually already has fruit on it. This was here in the pot. We planted it for the client. You can see this one's already holding fruit. Really beautiful trees, very wind and salt tolerant. They do great in this area. You can see it's still really wet over here. Large caliandra. That one was transplanted, so you can see it has a little bit of wilt from that transplant. This is a dream Adamoya. What are we working with here? What do we got? What do we got? Even I have to look. Oh, so this is the wax jambu.
Yeah, I don't know what that one is. That was one.
I believe that's a tropical apple. Of some type, yeah. More sugar apple, dwarf poinciana. These are really beautiful trees. Beautiful flowers on them. We have a strawberry tree here, Montinga. This makes the little red fruits almost all year long in this bed. Pretty much the similar planting that was on the other side. Lots of salvias, blue porterweed, perennial peanut, sunshine mimosa. And something I'll tell you guys, I had to go give a consultation yesterday in LaBelle, actually working on a 25-acre project over there. Guys already signed a contract. We're going to be doing a 3-acre food forest and then 22 acres of agroforestry for Greenbelt. So he wants to do, I think it was olives, persimmons, and pecans. It's kind of cold over there. We're a little bit more central in LaBelle. Kind of neat. This is going to be an exciting project. He's been working with the Division of Forestry on this one. I see some Turk's cap hibiscus. Ian's over here marking the Fakahatchee grass. This is a Mame sapote. Another grafted jackfruit. Oh, we do have that Barbados cherry in the ground. A Barbados cherry. Shrieking banging starfruit. Large royal poinciana. All the bigger trees here in the back. These were in individual rings, and we basically created one large bed here behind the house. And I am walking in some squishy right here. I mean, this is beyond wet site. We have to be very careful even walking in here because we make footprints, waiting on this grass to come back. There's some milkweeds in here we relocated from the bed on the back of the house. I believe that's like a queen crepe myrtle that was here when we got here. And that's a wrap. Not a huge planting, but this did take us, 4.5 days with 5 guys. So definitely a good amount of work going on here. Large amount of materials getting moved, and like I had mentioned in the last video, even though we had run into all those challenges, wet site, really hard to get the grass up off the ground, dirt not showing up like it's supposed to. We busted our butt a little bit, a little extra hard and made it happen. So luckily I have a good team, guys that are willing to make this work happen, get it done. Like I said, they wanted to get it done so bad we tried to get out of here last night. It just didn't happen. So that's a wrap. This project is looking pretty good. And this is the existing garden that was here, existing bananas. There's some citrus out there in the yard. And there's actually an array of fruit trees in the front yard. And what I think is really cool, this is the main house. I really like how a lot of this landscaping, there's edibles plugged in. That large tree that looks like a ligustrum, that would be a common, umbrella tree that you would see in front of somebody's house. That's a Cattleya guava. That might be a strawberry, might be a lemon. I don't really know without seeing the fruit. A lot of the hedges going around the other side of the house are cocoa plum. Those have edible fruits on it, so that's really cool. So there's some neat edibles actually mixed into the standard landscaping. And if you look out here in the front yard, there's more fruit trees, probably another 10 or so. So another fun project, heading home to the family. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Most important, pound dirt.